Finally, we have a video which will clarify all your doubts of this keyword in JavaScript and what are the different versions of calling a function using few functions like call, apply, or bind. These are the different ways by which we can call a function in JavaScript, right? So in this video, we will talk about all this. You just have to keep watching this video and take some notes, because when you take notes you get more information and that retain also. So let's go deep dive into this video. We will meet after a short intro. Hi friends, so let's take first some examples and then we will see how this keyword will be used in JavaScript objects. Okay, you have a function, right? And let's say the function is add 10, okay, to some number, and this function has a definition which is using this keyword, this dot value. Okay, there is some value property in this object, and then we are adding 10 and we are returning this. Okay, now if we call this function, right, what do you expect? What is the output, right? Do you know, will this be resolved or this will be undefined? Because this value is there in this, but this is not defined for a function. It is undefined, right? The value of this keyword in JavaScript is picked by an object which calls this particular function. So for example, if we have an object and the value of this object, let's say, is 5, right? Now if we call this obj dot add 10, definitely this will return 15. How? Because this keyword, right, will be obtained from this obj, which is value is 5 and then 10 is added, so it will return 15. Now but because in this thing we don't have any obj object, right? So the value is of this is undefined. Now let's go, if you want to call this function, because let's say this is a library, right? And in libraries code is written in general. Now the requirement is, if you want to call this particular function, this is doing, let's say, some heavy duty work, right? We don't know the logic, complex logic, right? Let's say, and this function is using this keyword. Then how to call? Okay, so one way is using call keyword, or apply, or bind, right? These are the three different ways through which we can inject this keyword, basically the value of this, or basically we can connect the object with this function. Okay, so let's take an example and see. We will go into the code as well, but let's first take Blackboard example. So when we call, let's say we have some function which is this here, add 10, right? And if we like give a dot call, and then here we can, the first argument will be the object through which we want to bind it together, and then the arguments, if any it takes, right? These are the arguments of the function, but in this particular case, or any number of arguments, this in this particular add 10 function there is no argument, right? So its value is 0. But yeah, definitely the first thing is important, right? So uh, so whatever the object we will give, we can give here obj, right? This is the first method. Now the second method is through apply, add 10, and then we can call apply. The syntax for this apply and the argument is similar to call thing, right? The only difference is in the subsequent argument. So it takes an array, and the elements of this array will become the argument for this particular function. However, in this case, at 10 is not taking any element, right? Any argument. And third way is bind. Bind is little different. Like in these two things, like you can see this at 10 function will be called then and there. But in bind, it is not important. So we can see some examples, right? Where we will call this at 10 function dot, then we can bind, right? And this bind function will take some object, obj, and it will return a new function, let's say fn, right? Now this fn can be called at any point of time, given some arguments if it required, but or empty arguments. So when it can be called after some time as well, right? There is no mandatoriness of calling this particular function then and there. We can prepare a short form. Okay, so let's dive into the code and see how it will run through proper syntax. Okay, so here I have prepared the code. You can see this employee and employee one and employee two are the two objects which will take first name and last name. First name is BK Anika and BK and then Anika, and in the Java is the script, right? And this is a function which is just doing console log, and we are calling this function through call, taking the argument and then uh, printing. So through the call, we have binded this particular employee function here with the invite function and employee two the second line. If we see run it and see what it goes. Sorry, yeah. So you can see hello BK Anika, how are you? This is the first line, 10th line, right? This particular, and then this particular line printed hello JavaScript. So if we comment this, and let's take an example of apply. So if we run it, the output will be same. Why? Uh, because apply is used and it is binded with this employee one and employee two in different line. Here the arguments will come as an array. Okay, and the output is again hello BK Anika, hello JavaScript. Okay, so I have an example for this as well. Again, the output is same because we have binded the function. You can see the employee one and employee two in these two different functions, and then later on we are calling. Okay, so this is the advantage of bind. If you don't want to call that function there and there, you want to create some short form and then later on you want to call. So I hope you got the idea of call, apply, and invite. Sorry, this bind function. So these are the different methods through which we can bind some object to a function, because this keyword is not used for function for a function. This is not defined unless until we call through the dot operator. I hope you like this video. Please share with your friends and let me know in the comment section what is your understanding, and if there is any doubt, I will be happy to answer and your queries. And let me know on what other topics you want to see on videos which we can create in JavaScript or any other language, or any other doubts that you have. That will be helpful for me to create more videos on those topics. So with this note, I'll take leave. Please subscribe to my channel, and this is BK from Anika signing off.